Snapchat is a phenomenon, and everybody agrees it is one of the most valuable companies out there, right up there with Twitter. Not quite Facebook material, but certainly WhatsApp material. So it's a multi-billion, maybe $15 or $16 billion company, maybe more. But it's the kids use it. Now, I think it's gone a long way from the days when people said, oh, that's just for sexting.
Right, yeah.
The whole idea of Snapchat is originally you send text. Now you can send pictures and video and do all sorts of fun things. But nothing lives longer than 24 hours. It all expires. And the smart folks say that's why the kids like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that kids are onto something. Because I don't know that we need to be keeping all these photos and videos, keeping them forever, like curating our life. Like, I do think it's a good idea for a lot of stuff to disappear.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because, of course, we're a little older than the Snapchat generation, even you, who are a lot younger than me. And a lot of the time, the dialogue among adults is, well, do you get it? How do you use it? And I asked my son, who's a big Snapchat user, he's 21, I said, how do you use it? I said, there's no manual. How did you figure out how to use it? It was just obvious. I said, no, really, Henry. Well, people show you. And I realized that one of the things that is a secret of success among young people is something that's a little hard to figure out, but that they can share with their peers. Like there's this kind of whole body of, oh, you know, did you ever see, if you do that, you can do this. And they know, but they make sure that they don't tell any adults how to use it, which I think is great. So today we're going to show you, as best as we, with our limited capabilities, can figure out how to use Snapchat.
And we got a lot of this from our children, too.
Yeah. Not me. Henry won't. He literally won't show me, won't follow me, won't let me follow him. He says, I don't want anything to do with you because it's my place, right? I understand that.
Yeah, well, my daughter's young. She still trusts me, and so she showed me a lot of this. So let's just start.
Okay.
It logged me out. So.
One of the things we should mention is that Snapchat will only let you use one device at a time. You're identified on Snapchat by your phone number. And that's also important because it's not completely anonymous. People find you if you're in their contact list. You know, I have Megan's phone number. So because she joined by phone number, I can then find her in Snapchat and add her. But if you don't know somebody's phone number, you can't add them. They have to actually, you know, give you the information for you to follow them. You can't just follow them by name, in other words.
Right. That's a really good tip because I kept wondering why I was signing in on my iPad and then it was logging me out on my iPhone. So,
Only one device at a time.
That's smart for the kids.
And that's because it's tied to the phone number.
Right. Yeah. And your kids don't want you logging in on their account.
iPad. Yeah.
Exactly. So shall we take a look at what the general screen just looks like this? Presumably you've seen this. We've shown this before on the show.
Now, this is why it's kind of opaque, okay? Because there is no, like, okay, swipe left, swipe right, none of that stuff.
Right.
You just have to figure it out. As I remember, when you first sign up, it still doesn't tell you any of that. You have to figure it out. Right?
So, yeah, so if I want to take a picture.
Pretty simple. Anybody can figure that out. Wow, that is a terrible picture.
Really, any young person would tell you, never go from up in a selfie.
It doesn't matter.
You don't want to see that.
Because tomorrow, it's gone forever.
Right, exactly.
And one of the things that we adults kind of, when we talk about Snapchat, and people like Sherry Turkle, who's pretending to be a kid, and stuff like that, is they say that children understand, younger people understand, the whole problem with the internet is this stuff never goes away. And that things you do as a kid will follow you, will haunt you in some cases for the rest of your life. So they are thrilled to have a place where they can have, you know, they don't have to put on makeup and fix their hair. They don't have to make a big deal about it. They can just share something offhand with their friend and know that it's going to be gone. Now, kids know this, but a reminder, you can always save stuff with Snapchat. If you do a screen grab,
easily,
Snapchat will warn the sender, hey, they got a screen grab of it. So you might say, oh, well, at least I'll get a warning. But you know, you can always take a picture of the image on your phone and no one will know that you've done that. So you would certainly want to tell this to kids, and you as an adult probably would want to know this. There isn't complete privacy on Snapchat. People can save the things that you send them on Snapchat, so don't send embarrassing images. And there's also been some concern about Snapchat itself on its servers preserving these images for a longer period of time than 24 hours, and bad guys being able to access them. So Snapchat, just like everything else on the internet, you tell your kids, and you remember this for yourself, when you put it on the internet, there's no promise that it will stay private. So don't put anything on the internet that you wouldn't want your grandma to see.
Right. I mean, that is what I love about Snapchat, because it kind of exposes that idea. You know, I talk to a lot of parents who say, well, I don't let my kid on Snapchat because, you know, I have no idea what they're sending. And it's like, you have no idea what they're sending anyway. You know, you really know. You don't know. You have to just have conversations with your kids and trust your kids. And that's it. There's no technology that's ever going to, you know, there's no way, like, Instagram is better than Snapchat for that reason, or Facebook is better than...
You have to have the conversation with your children.
So yeah, exactly, and I like these features. Like I replayed. You sent me a snap, and I replayed it, and my daughter said, "You know, he's going to get a notification that you replayed that. You know that, right?"
Yes, I did. That's nice.
Yeah.
Though,
so it's like, you know, that's how the kids, you know, they know this thing, because they, you know, if someone sends them something and they won't replay it unless they want the person to know that they have replayed it.
Look, if you want to understand why people use Snapchat, it's fun. And let me just show you real quickly. This is something that oh yeah, my Wall Street Journal, hold on a second, I just want to know what the Google profits were. No, this is not fun. This is fun. So you're going to take a selfie. By the way, quick tip, double tapping it turns the camera from back to front. That's a nice thing to know, okay? And then touch and hold your face, and that's when the fun begins. The face recognition that's built into Snapchat, you sent me this one.
I did.
Hey, I'm driving here, I'm driving, is really fun, and they change these all the time.
And they used to be for sale for 99 cents, and you could keep it forever, but then they stopped that, so now they're all free.
Wasn't that interesting? And I think that the reason, we were talking about this on TWiT on Sunday, why did they take away an opportunity for great monetization, right? If you really like this effect, you're going to want to keep it forever, aren't you? Hello, my... Now, by the way, this doesn't do anything until you press and hold. Hello.
Or you could just take a picture.
Megan, stop talking. I am a mole man. And then you can review it. Stop talking. I am a mole man. And then you can pester people with it. Now, there's two choices here. I can send it to Megan. In fact, I can send it to Megan, my wife, OMG Chad. I can send it to a bunch of people who I have in my Snapchat list. And or, I could, by the way, you could do both. I'll send it to you, Megan, but I will also add it to my story. And that is something that is a relatively new addition to Snapchat, and a lot of people are taking advantage of. Baratunde Thurston taught me about this. So I've now sent it out to Megan. So Megan, you're going to get that little stupid video I sent.
Okay,
but
so here
putting it in my story also makes it public.
Right.
And people can follow me and watch my story.
Here, let's see it now.
We didn't see it enough.
You could just take a picture.
Megan, stop talking. I am a mole man.
All right.
And I am going to replay that and replay that.
Now,
so.
we were talking about why they stopped monetizing those, and the reason, the thinking is, at least Jason Calacanis said this, and I think this is the kind of widespread thinking, is they do sell this to brands. So, I don't know, I can't remember a recent example, but let's say there's a new TV show, and they will add features from that TV show to you, and you will send it to other people. The brand pays good money for that capability. So they didn't want the idea of people buying this to kind of interfere with that much bigger opportunity presented by brands spending $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 for one day to have people sending images of that TV show.
Yeah, it shows how, especially with this generation,
Very powerful.
They're not going to spend 99 cents, but they do not care about ads at all. I asked my daughter that too.
She doesn't mind it.
I told her, and she was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense, because I don't care if I'm being advertised to.
Well, and if you can do a Star Wars kind of character and you're wielding a lightsaber, it's great. You don't mind that that's really an ad for Star Wars. It's just kind of part of the culture. So Snapchat's smart. I mean, they really have some good ways to monetize this.
Yes, they do.
Do you want to show more of its features now that you're an expert?
Well, we can show the story. It's not so great.
Let me show you my story, because I have a few. So first of all, when you go on, you're on your Snapchat screen. This is really important. Remember that swipe left and swipe right does something, as with all apps now. Swipe left gives me my directory of people I know, okay? Swipe right gets to stories. Then there's two kinds of stories. There's, of course, stories from people I follow, like Baratunde. He uses this all the time.
It's set, but I made the kitchen bearable, usable, even edible, and check it out.
And it's a complete throwaway, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's some things I don't really understand. I think if you tap it, or maybe tap that button, you can go to other places. Now, by the way, politicians have jumped on Snapchat. This is Hillary Clinton's My Story. And you can skip again to the next story if you want to jump through it real quickly. You can exit by pulling it down. This is really important because that's not obvious.
Yeah.
We were before the show saying, how do I stop? I want to stop. So that's how you stop it. You pull it down.
Anthony
you
has
squeeze
some
it down.
things in his story, too.
Anthony, you posted some stuff of you. Anthony's our technical director today, and there's a view from Anthony's seat. So I think that's kind of fun. But you'll notice some other things. Notice these are paid placements. This is Iowa caucuses. Who is this?
Okay, so this is Peter Hamby, who was a veteran CNN reporter. He was the 2008 and 2012 election. He also wrote a piece. He was like a Harvard fellow, and he wrote a piece about the boys on the bus. You know, those guys that travel around, and how Twitter basically has killed the boys on the bus.
Yeah, that inside story of the campaign.
Yes. Right. So now he is the news director at Snapchat. Like, that is his job. And he is covering the campaign.
So this is a new kind of news.
Yeah. So his first episode was called Good Luck America, which I thought the whole show was called Good Luck America. But apparently this one is just called the Iowa caucuses. But I watched this with my kids because this is the language they speak. You know, it's the same as like MTV.
It's kind of more soundbite journalism, isn't it? But it also is more intimate, and you kind of get a front row seat to what's going on. All of the candidates are covered, by the way, and we can skip through.
It is soundbite journalism, yes, but they're getting this anyway. I mean, once you give a child access to Snapchat, they have access to the Discover network. Like, they can see all those content, things. They have access to all this. They're getting these messages constantly.
There's one more page. If you swipe right from stories, you're going to get to what's called the Discover page. These brands pay big bucks to be here. And there's a variety of content. We're told this is very successful, although I have seen people drop off. Katie Couric for a while was doing a daily newscast for Yahoo. That's gone. But you know what? It really makes sense for me is ESPN, because ESPN sports is all about highlights, right? And what better way to show highlights? Notice, by the way, these are not horizontal. This is all vertical video, and people who don't like vertical video get used to it. That's because of smartphones. That's what you're going to see. So this is an interesting thing because you can swipe up, and a lot of these Discovery channels let you do this, and actually read a full article or see more video. You can go deep, which I love, or you can swipe to the next story. And I really kind of think this for me is perfect for ESPN. This is kind of Sports Center for the next generation, because you get anything you want, but you also get the quick hit in a very palatable way.